Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, and welcome back to another live stream. Good morning or good day, depending on where you're from. Had a little bit of technical difficulty there to start the morning, so we had to create a new stream link. But nonetheless, we are here now. Just a couple technical difficulties. Sorry for the late start, but another opportunity to get another New York session in. I'm very excited to get back on here with you guys. Morning, good morning, good morning, or good day, depending on where we're from. How is everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? Morning, good morning. Welcome back. Morning, Luke. Morning, Trader Kyra. Morning, Mario. Tyree. Good morning, Tatiana. HMH, what's up? Valentine, what's up? White Chocolate, good morning. One Girl Trader, good morning. Grandma, good morning. Leonard, good morning. Antonio, what's up? Tad, what's up? Livy, how are you doing today? Jason, good morning. Ty, good morning. Francis, good morning. Ravon, good morning. Malcolm, good morning. Mark, Jacob, Bust a Move, Nico, good morning, good morning, good morning. Iman, good morning. Ayun, good morning. Jared, Daniel, good morning. The Unicorn Queen, how are you doing today? Christina, good morning. Abel, good morning. Jacob, what's up? Whistle, good morning. Uday, good morning. Uturo, good morning. Monir, good morning. Ahmed, good morning. Gaetano, what's up? JDM, what's up? Leonard, what's up? Mr. Khan, what's up? Diego, good morning. Carlos, good morning. Ronnie, good morning. Aggie, good morning. Stoic, good morning. Joel, good morning. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? Morning, good morning, good morning. Very excited to get back on here with you guys. A little bit of technical difficulties this morning, so just a little bit of a late start. So I will get right into the information. We had CPI this morning. That was at 8:30. You can see that here. It was a little bit of a lethargic CPI. Didn't really move initially. Took it some time to move, but then we got our decisive price delivery. After understanding important times of the day, we move over to the we move over to the daily chart to get our bias. And you can see my bias here already. Anybody that's in the group already knows that I was looking for a move from internal to external, right? Where is price currently located on the daily chart? Well, the price started today at a daily bullish FVG. When price is currently located at a bullish FVG, we have a bullish bias. Therefore, we're looking for a move from internal to external. Anybody could have seen that. The information is always presented pre-market. All you have to do is check the analysis section of the Discords. Bullish today for this reasoning. A move from internal to external. It's tapped into a daily bullish FVG. Now we're looking for it to go to the swing high. So, looking for higher prices today. See if there's anything during New York Open that we can take advantage of for higher prices. As we get into the lower time frames, do me a favor. Sub to the channel. That way you can communicate with us here on stream. Like the video. That way, if you have any kind of questions or comments, you can communicate with us. So, taking a look, this is our CPI candle here. Go to the 1 minute, you'll see what I was talking about. Okay, so CPI is usually a very volatile event. Seeing that CPI only moved about 20 to 40 points here is pretty lethargic, to say the least. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Right? That kind of means people and their worries about the economy are not as volatile as they were about a year ago, when these things would, when non-farm payroll or CPI would just in 1 minute move 100 points. Right, so I am happy to see the less volatile. That means, you know, it wasn't as much of a surprise, right? So inflation itself was a real big issue. 2020, 2021, even 2022, we had a hard time getting in control of CPI. Inflation, sorry, I said CPI. It's because CPI is the inflation reading. Nonetheless, seeing the less volatile CPI shows that we might have it under control again. Maybe we're working towards the right inflation rate. I know the people that were trying to expedite evals probably didn't like to see that because they didn't get a chance to capture the volatility that they were looking for. But there's good and bad to every scenario. Hopefully that means the economy is more stable than it was 2 years ago. Okay, so looking for higher prices this morning. Says the daily chart. We are going to sit here and see if there's anything we could use within our model to take advantage of higher prices. And daily external is the target. Take a look at ES as well to see what ES is doing to start the morning. NQ and ES, obviously two correlated pairs, so two correlated pairs should be moving the same at the same time. It is nice to see that ES is trying to work its way higher as well. Looks like this could be an hourly change in the state of delivery as well. Add liquidity below the swing low. The down move here. We've now seen displacement. All right, so it looks like we grabbed liquidity below the swing low. After grabbing liquidity below the swing low, we had displacement for a change. You still have some unfilled FEGs above to rebalance. Look at the rest of this FEG here. The rest of this FEG here. So it does have things higher to reach for. Okay. Would like to go back out to the daily chart to also speak about a weekly profile. All right. So in a classic buy week, what day of the week has the highest probability of setting the low of the week? See if anybody knows the answer to that. Once again, in a classic buy week, thinking about a weekly profile, in a classic buy week, what day of the week has the highest probability of setting the low of the week? Amazing job. The majority got the right answer. Tuesday. Tuesday has the highest probability of setting the low of the week in a classic bi-week weekly profile. So we have Monday here. We have Tuesday putting in a low inside of a bullish FVG. And then we also have a higher low here. So if we bring in ES, take a look at the correlated pair. Right? Two correlated pairs should be moving the same at the same time. So it's nice to see, right? It's nice to see that Tuesday could potentially put the low of the weekend here on ES as well. Nice to see two correlated pairs moving the same at the same. And we do have a swing high here, so there is liquidity resting at the highs. So we will be looking for a move to new all-time highs. If this thing wants to just run without us, right? Even when we have a bias, we still need an entry function. If this thing just wants to run without giving an entry function, that's fine. There will be days where you get the bias right and you don't get an entry function. There will be days where you get the bias wrong and you don't get an entry function. There's going to be all types of scenarios, and this is why you have to have justifications to your actions. Okay. Justifications to my actions are, right, has been and always will be. Time is our most important element. Bias or draw on liquidity is our second most important element. And lastly, entry function. So everybody that's been working with me already knows this. Whether it's repetitive or not, you'll see it happen every single time, because that's what builds the muscle memory. We always start on the economic calendar to understand the important times of the day. Then we move over to the daily chart to get a bias for the session. And then during the session, we're looking to execute an entry function aligned with that bias. Okay, so looking for higher prices. We'll sit and wait, see if they give any type of entry function. As of right now, they're just running it higher off of the CPI data. So this is not a location that I looked along. We still need an entry function. Right, a bullish unicorn because I have a bullish bias. So not looking to sit here and predict. We are looking to sit here and efficiently react to price. Now that we have a game plan, we know what we're looking for, right? And that's the important part of having a game plan. It blocks out all of the other opportunities. If you go into the market being one-sided, you know what you're looking for. So when that one thing that you're looking for happens, there's some conviction in executing. Right? I don't have to have discretion here. I'm not looking like, oh, is this where is price currently at? What can I get into price right now? No, I have a bullish bias. I'm waiting for a bullish unicorn. That's simple. If we get one, you could look to execute it. If we don't get one, then that's the only model I execute. I don't try to execute other types of entry functions. The thing is everybody has their own perspective, and that's more than okay. And I'm here to share my perspective. So my perspective is I don't need to trade every day. Matter of fact, for the past 2 months, I've only been averaging 1 trade a week. In my opinion, less is more. Quality over quantity. Like, we all come here for some form of freedom of time, freedom of location. Well, if you're glued to the screen 12 hours a day, every single day, that doesn't sound like freedom of time or freedom of location. Okay? Not sitting here saying that the other individuals that execute 10 times a day, every single day, are doing something wrong. I'm sitting here providing my perspective. This is my journey, and I'm documenting it publicly for anybody else that would like to follow along. If you can learn something from it, if you can take my mistakes and learn from my mistakes so that you can expedite your learning curve, that's the entire purpose. But I'm not going to sit here and say something is better than the other thing, right? If you want to execute 10 times a day, be my guest. In my opinion, I don't think that's a good idea. In my own business, I don't do that. Bias is looking to play out. We're getting to move higher towards the target. Whether they just run it right to the target without us, that's completely up to them. We have to efficiently react to price. I'm not going to force myself upon it. Give me 2 seconds, just going to take a sip of coffee, and then we can start to get into any conversation, questions and answers. If you guys have any information, feel free to throw it in chat. And get over to the chat after this. Feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. Questions or a low resistance liquidity, that's when there's failure swings. So this is low resistance liquidity right here. These are failure swings. They are failure swings. They failed to sweep previous high. Resistance liquidity is. This is high resistance liquidity if you take out the liquidity, versus low resistance. Fail to take the prior liquidity. Shows you whether liquidity has been taken or not. Right, so here's a perfect example. I'm going to go over to one of my long-term investments. Take a look at Tesla real quick. All right, let's take a look at Tesla, and all the information's still on here from when I did purchase it. You can see the same entry function. Low, high, new low, new high, and you have a gap in here. So you get a weekly bullish unicorn. And now notice all of the low resistance liquidity that it had to reach for. Look at the low resistance liquidity here. Look at the low resistance liquidity here. So low resistance liquidity can be used to see that liquidity has not been taken. So that means we had something to reach for here. We had something to reach for here. It was a good draw on liquidity. Look what happened thereafter. Thing's gonna run right to the target without giving us an opportunity. Love to see the bias play out, but didn't get to engage with it. Ash, displacement is key to breakers. I always hear you say that, but I understood the difference when I executed breakers that barely close or close below or above it, as opposed to the ones displacing through it. Displacement is the presence of an FEG. If an FEG is not aligned with a breaker, I do not touch it. The presence of displacement is key. Ash, this FEG traded Friday candle, so why you used this FEG again? Daily FEG where you find the bias. Please stop spamming. If you're going to spam, then we're just going to kick you from chat. There's another 400 people in here, so it's not easy to read like 400 comments at once. Nobody's ignoring you. Okay, I have to sit here and look at the chart and analyze. And then when I get a chance to move over to chat, there's like 400 messages. So please stop spamming. The only time I'm going to say that. On the daily, yes, it was tapped into last Friday. But the rest of the FEG still remains unmitigated. So any portion of the unmitigated FEG can still be used. That is why we still use this for a bias. Okay? We use unmitigated information. So yes, it was tapped into once here on Friday, but since the rest of the FEG has yet to be mitigated, we can still use that. What would you say on GC setup from today? I'm sorry, I'm a New York AM trader. I focus on ES and NQ. I'm going to focus on ES and NQ right now. ES is the weaker pair and NQ is the stronger pair. In a bullish bias, you want to be executing on the stronger pair. In a bearish bias, you want to be executing on the weaker pair. So you can use SMT to see that, right? SMT shows strength or weakness in a marketplace. When you see strength and you have a bullish bias, you want to be executing the stronger pair. Hey Ash, what's the difference between the ES chart and the SPY chart? To be honest, I don't know the answer to that, so I'm not gonna attempt to answer it if I don't have the information. That would just be misleading. So I'm sorry, I'll have to defer to someone else for that question. I focus on ES and NQ, so I know that ES is the futures chart for the S&P 500. That's as far as I could go with that statement. I do have to say we're close enough to target here now, right? If this was our draw on liquidity and this is what we were targeting, seeing that we're now hitting the target, I'm not really interested in longs anymore. Like, the objective was this line right here. Now that we're at the line, then my bullish objective has been completed. So I had a bullish bias. We're getting bullish prices. Unfortunate that they did not give a bullish entry function. I would be done for the day. I don't look to... I set a game plan, then I execute that game. Once I get a result to the information, then I'm done. I'm not the one to be flipping bias every 10 seconds. Yes, hitting its first target here too, right? We pointed out the FVG that needs to be rebalanced. Hourly, sorry. Right, change in the state of delivery after sweeping the lows. Now it's trying to rebalance the imbalances, starting to rebalance its first target now. So we're hitting bullish targets. That's why I'm saying I'm no longer interested in taking any longs. Wanted longs to the target. Did not give an entry for me. Now that the objective has been completed, not interested in taking long. Would you show me how you frame draw on liquidity using IRL and ERL? Yep, so internal liquidity is FVGs. External liquidity is swing highs or swing lows. I get bias or draw on liquidity. Those two words mean the same thing. From the daily chart. When I'm on the daily chart, I'm looking at where is price currently located on the daily chart. So for example, today, if you go to the beginning of the day started with price currently located at a bullish FVG. So when price is currently located at a bullish FVG or a swing low, I have a bullish bias. When price is located at a swing high or a bearish FVG, I have a bearish bias. Now, the only other thing that you need to understand is that it moves from internal to external and vice versa. From external to internal. So, anytime price is currently located at one of those locations, aim at the opposite location, right? So, price was located at an internal location. So, the draw on liquidity would be the external location. You aim at the opposite location. It was located at a bullish FVG, internal liquidity. So we aim at external liquidity. Hi, Ash, with my funded futures, you need to place a trade per week. Yeah, they have an inactivity rule. So you have to take a trade within 7 days. I have seen accounts breached for inactivity. So anybody's participating in any prop firms, I highly suggest that you read through all of their rules before, keyword before, making any type of purchase. Do your due diligence first before risking. So you need to know all of their rules before participating. Are you trading if price, for example, sweeps swing low and the only draw on liquidity is a swing high? That is exactly what just happened on Dixie. Let's take a look. Not this one. Hold on. So before that bias that you just saw, this was my current bias. Go ahead and fact check me in the Discords. See the same information. Price swept an external liquidity. Here, I'll just even press replay so you can see it. Price swept an external liquidity. It had no FVG internal to reach for. Only thing it had to reach for was another external liquidity. So yes, this does happen where it goes external to external. That was my bias. Right? It swept a swing low, and as you heard me earlier, when price sweeps a swing low, I have a bullish bias. Right? So this would be the bias here, reaching for the other external liquidity. And that's what you get. So yes, it is possible to go from external to external. Hey Ash, other than ES and NQ and gold and silver, do you know of any other famous correlated pairs? Yeah, EU and Dixie. EU is inversely correlated to Dixie. The inactivity rule is only for funded accounts. There's no inactivity rule on eval. If today NQ is taking out the external liquidity, that means in the next days we should wait for price to go back to completely fill the daily FVG. I'm not looking to predict here. Nobody can tell the future. If you ever find somebody trying to predict the future, you should run the other way. There's no such thing. You cannot predict the future. So what I'm trying to say here is just be objective to what's currently happening right now. I have no clue what's going to happen in the next days. All I'm doing is analyzing what's currently happening now. Right now, we're reaching for this swing high. That's all that I could say about NQ. I have no clue what's going to happen after that. You have to be objective to price, not subjective. The moment you try to influence price action, that's what being subjective is. The moment you try to influence price action, that's when you start to get into bad positions. Didn't pull back for no. Right to the target. CPI was clearly the driver. I have to document this for everybody else that's not on stream, so give me 2 seconds. Get some screenshots so that board. Seconds, and then we'll get back to any questions. Discord, just seconds. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful biases. Got to make sure the people that are not here on live with us also get the live in. So Give me 2 more seconds and we will be right back to the... Good. That got updated. All right. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw it in chat. I will not be taking a position today. We had a bullish bias. Our objective was the swing high. No, price does not have to absolutely go above the swing high. We've already made the move that I was looking for. The fact that we are close enough to the swing high, I'm no longer interested in executing more bullish price action. Price did its job moving higher to the target. Does not absolutely have to go past that line for it to be completed. Do I trade London? No, I'm from the US, so I focus on New York AM session. The London session, I am normally sleeping for. Do I consider inversions? No. So when considering daily bias, I only use swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs. I do not use inversions. What broker do I use to trade on? My day trading for my cash account is on AMP. You can see it right. My long-term investing account is on TD Ameritrade, which has recently been bought out by Charles Schwab. So I have a long-term account, I have a day trading account, and then I have prop firm accounts. What a beautiful thing. It's just running high. And I'm fine with just letting it go. I'm not, there's no fear here. I don't care I don't chase. So I either get an entry function or I don't. If I don't get an entry function, then I'm not executing. Right? So I'm fine with just watching it go higher. I'm fine with, you know, the bias being correct and it leaving without me. I have no FOMO issues. Yes, you can trade micros on AMP. Go to their margin requirements so you understand what type of maintenance you need in the account and what type of margin it takes to open a position. Would I execute a bearish unicorn at this point? No, I would not. I was bullish this morning. I was looking for a price to move high. That was my game plan. Then during New York Open, price moved to the swing high, giving me a result to the game plan. So I'm done for the day. Right? I don't flip my bias back and forth. I create a game plan before the market opens. I wait for a result to that game plan. Once I get a result, then I am done. I don't flip my bias 10 different times within one session. What do you recommend for a starting account balance? That is a personal question, right? The preference should be an amount of money that you can take and burn. So whatever amount of money you can willingly say that you do not care about, that you can literally burn. There's no exaggeration there. You can take this money and it means nothing to you, and you can throw it in the trash and never see it again. So whatever that amount is for you personally. Cannot rely on the money. The money has to have the sole purpose of being used for trading. And I'm saying it's a personal decision because your preference is going to be different than my preference when answering that question. The only thing I have to say is go to the website and look at the margin requirements to understand how much money it even takes to open a position. Ash, would you agree this violent move left lots of low resistance liquidity on the way up? Yes, this is absolutely low. Right? Low resistance liquidity are failure swings. That's exactly what you're looking for. Price never swept any lows on the way up. All the lows just are higher lows. This is low resistance. Yes. That is correct. Would you be ready for a retracement to continue the way up on Thursday in context with the weekly profile? Once again, I don't predict the future. I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. I have no clue what's going to happen on Friday. I create a game plan for my session. That's it. That's where we draw the line. I analyze before New York Open. I get a bias after looking at the economic calendar. And then during the session, either I get an entry function that's aligned with that bias and I execute it, or I don't and I don't execute. Either way, once I get a result to that information, I'm done for the day. I do not need to know where tomorrow's going. I don't need to know where Friday's going. Tomorrow's a brand new day. So anything in between, once we're done with stream, compared to tomorrow morning, there's a lot of information that's going to happen in between that amount of time. So there's no reason to try to predict now because there's going to be a lot more information that's going to be presented that can change your mind within that amount of time. Hey, good morning, Convesco. How are you doing today? In a scenario where NQ hadn't moved that far, would you wait for the unicorn to form in an hour one? Yeah, so daily is the bias. Hour one is the higher time frame points of interest. And then the 5-minute is our entry function. So yes, when you're bullish, you look for bullish entry functions from a higher time frame point of interest. Those higher time frame point of interest that I would use for bullish entry functions are FVGs and swing lows. How would I use the stat map today? I wouldn't use it. Price it's already completed its objectives. I really don't know how to make this any clearer. You should set a game plan, and then once you get a result to that game plan, be done. Right? Like I wouldn't be interested in using stat map right now because the target has been completed already. Had a bullish bias, and we were looking for price to move to the swing high. It moved to the swing, so it doesn't even matter what stat map says. In my opinion, I'm done for the day. I'm doing good as well. Thanks for asking. So I may even wrap up the stream early because my objective for the day has been completed. Really no reason to spend the mental capital on continuing to watch the chart. In my opinion, this would be a time to save the mental capital. So unless there's any more questions or comments, I am going to begin to wrap up stream. I do understand that it was a shorter stream today, but that was due to price action. This thing decided to run directly to the target and did not change its mind, not even for a second. It just ran right to the... I'll give a minute or two here to see if there's any additional questions, but if there isn't any additional questions, I am going to begin to wrap up stream. Do I trade CL? I have traded CL. It's very rare that I trade CL. So out of this entire year, I only think I've had like 2 positions on CL. Very rare that I trade CL. NQ has almost all of my positions, and then ES, and then there's like 1 or 2 on CL. Great trade this morning on GC. This is gorgeous. Hopefully, this right here. Swept out all the lows here. Get a breaker block with an FEG right in here. This is just insane. Wow. Absolutely insane. Swing low, swing high, new low, high with displacement. Has the FEG in there too. Incredible. Equal highs here to aim at too. That is just really, this is a beautiful chart, right? The C2 unicorn. Don't give it away too soon. Did I even know about the C2 unicorn yet? Don't give it away now. This could be a market or a limit, whoever's asking, right? Because you need to have the FEG to be confirmed before it's a unicorn, right? So you have to wait until the 835 candle closes to confirm the FEG here. And that's why I'm saying it could be a market or a limit, because once the criteria is confirmed right here at 835, once this candle closes, the unicorn is confirmed. So since it closes inside the breaker block, you're immediately at a location that you can enter. Right, so since you're already inside of the breaker block during confirmation, you can just go ahead and mark it here. So yes, you can mark it if you wanted to. Market or limit orders is usually a preference of the operator. There is no right or wrong there. Usually people have a preference in terms of getting into price. Some people don't like to use limit orders. Some people would rather use market orders. So there is a personal preference there as well. But in terms of our entry function, you could have marketed because all of the criteria was completed, and once it was completed, price was within the entry location. So there is no right or wrong between markets or limits, though. That's like a personal preference. Fibonacci is not the same as stat map. No, it's not. Those are two different things. All right, so I know today was a shorter stream. You can blame price action for that. We had a bullish bias this morning. Price decided to run right to the swing high as soon as the market opened. No trades for me today. I only trade the unicorn. We trade the unicorn between 9:30 and 12. There is no unicorn on this. Price just ran higher. And that's fine. Now that it's completed its objective, I'm done for the day. So I am going to wrap up stream then. Thank you once again for everybody that joined. I hope everybody has an amazing day. I will be moving over to the Discords after this. So if you want to continue any communication, feel free to check the links that are in the description of this video. That's where the links to the Discords are. I will be moving over to the general chat of the Discords now. I really hope everybody has a great day. Thank you once again for joining. We will continue to keep live streaming, so you'll find us here again next week for a New York AM session on Wednesday. So turn those notifications on, sub to the channel, like the video. That way you can be alerted for any new educational content and for our next live stream. Thank you once again. I hope everybody has a great day.